Hello, my name's Josh, and this is my co-host Josh. And
Hello.
this is the Black and White Podcast. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe. It's good to see everybody back though for week 3. It was a really crazy week at week 2, but so we'll go over some week 2 matchups and some injuries, and also always the Ravens segment.
Yeah, and we'll talk some fantasy and we'll talk some injuries
Of
and
course.
get into everything. There was a lot that happened this week, so I'm excited to start talking about it all.
Yeah. Well, we could start off with man. There were a lot of injuries this week, Josh. A
There
lot.
were. It was like every couple minutes I was getting a new update on my phone about someone else who got injured, and it was all just like superstars, and it was crazy. And I've never, ever, since watching football, and I think this goes for most people, I've never seen a week like that with that many injuries to that many like big players and
Yeah.
stuff. It was nuts.
It was a lot, and it affected a lot of fantasy stuff, which we'll talk about
Oh, it
later.
did.
But it shook a lot of stuff up in fantasy.
Yeah, the NFL shook the NFL up in general, and fantasy especially. There's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot there that it affected.
Yeah. Start off with Christian McCaffrey had a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for, they think, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that's huge. He's pretty much, he carries that team basically.
He
I mean,
does.
he really does. So it'll be interesting to see how Teddy Bridgewater will do without him. But yeah, that's just such a huge injury. Like one of the best players in the NFL.
Definitely. It's a big, big injury, and all these injuries really, really start to add up for a lot of teams. So they'll be looking for Mike Davis to really take maybe some of the load there at their running back position.
Yeah.
Then we'll start. Then Drew Lock tore his AC sprain, his shoulder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he's out for 2 to 4 weeks. They brought in the boy Blake Bortles.
Bortles to all of my the Good Place fans, to any of them that are listening, you can always find joy in Blake Bortles because of that show. But is he the answer to their quarterback problem? Probably not.
Hope
But
Driscoll will be.
yeah, hopefully he can at least keep them in games until Locke comes back. They don't have Sutton now though.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton's out as
So
well.
that's,
He tore his ACL.
Yeah, so that's another big injury. So it's another hurdle for them to try to get past.
Yeah, they'll really be relying on Noah Fant and Jerry Jeudy in there.
Yeah, Noah Fant has been pretty incredible this year. He's very good. I'm very excited to see his career blossom.
Yeah. And then you have Saquon Barkley with the torn ACL.
That is one of the saddest injuries. Christian McCaffrey is sad, but he's coming back, thankfully. Saquon is out for the year. Like, that's just such a, like, that's just unfortunate for football in general. Like,
Yeah.
for the NFL, for football.
So sad.
He's such a great player, and it's just really sad, especially this early in the season, to see him go down with that. And that's a huge blow to the Giants' offense and Daniel Jones and just everyone there. Like, I feel like that almost ends the Giants' season. Like, it's that big.
We'll see how well Daniel Jones can go from there. And then
Yeah.
you saw that Devontae Freeman is signing with the Giants.
Yeah.
So- Love the backfield of Wayne Gallman.
and Deion Lewis.
So
Yes.
they'll still have a slightly formidable background, but backfield. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Deion Lewis is no scrub. I love Deion Lewis, and Devontae Freeman I think is very good as well. So I mean they could definitely bounce back. It really depends on Daniel Jones, I think, at this point.
Depends on how good he is and if even Sterling Shepard can get back, because he got injured as well with a toe injury.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then we also had Tavon Young with a torn ACL with the Ravens. Really unfortunate. Second
Yeah.
straight year. He just really unfortunate. Didn't seem as if it was anything just crazy happened. He just landed on it
just
wrong.
one of those. Yeah, that just kind of happens. He's so he's just unfortunately so injury prone because he's so good when he's on the field. Like, he's just such a bright spot in our defense. So it really sucks to see him go down. He's just one of those unfortunate cases that can't get away from injuries.
Yeah, hopefully Jimmy Smith will come back and he'll be able. Jimmy Smith will play more of a role, I guess. Then I'll name off all of the injuries for the Niners.
Wow.
They had Nick Bosa with a torn ACL, Solomon Thomas with a torn ACL, Jimmy Garoppolo has a high ankle sprain, and Raheem Mostert also has a sprained ACL. And they had some other players banged up as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is a hard one to bounce back from. I mean, that's nuts. Like, that's... Like, you just had superstars on both sides of the ball get injured, and that's just crazy to me. Like, Nick Bosa, Solomon, like, Garoppolo, Mostert. That's crazy to lose all of them. Like, that's... I don't know. That's devastating.
Well, the Niners held their own against the Jets, 131-13. Nick Mullins came in, and he was 8 for 11, had 71 yards, and he had an interception. So he wasn't exceptional, but he at least got them to win.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert was good until then. But
yeah, I was going to say, I think Mostert and Garoppolo had put up most of that lead by the time they got injured. So
exactly.
So it
was really not much. He was just protecting the lead, I believe, and unfortunately threw an interception. So we'll see how the Niners can get through this game.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that game. I mean, that's like a superstar team, like one of the top like 3 teams probably, or like, you know, top 5 definitely, who just took a huge blow this past week. It's crazy.
You know, they have a bunch of games coming up right now, so we'll see exactly where they land when Nick Mullen is in for a while.
All right, yeah, so with that, we will jump right into the Giants-Bears game. So that was unfortunate because we have Saquon Barkley getting injured. We have Daniel Jones playing not great, 25 for 40, 241 yards and an interception, no touchdowns. So he didn't play amazing. It was against the Bears. I'm hoping that he can still bounce back later on. But so far he's had a rough start. But with Saquon Barkley going down, I mean, it's really hard to come back from that. And the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, he played okay.
How Mitch plays,
he
normally.
played like you would expect him to. 18 for 28, not great, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So it's nothing great. But they got the win. They didn't score at all in the second half, but those early points were just enough, and with Saquon going down and everything, if Saquon were in there, the Giants would have won.
And the Bears' defense is really good,
It is.
With Khalil Mack there, you're always going to have a slightly formidable defense.
For sure. And Evan Engram, he got a little bit into the game finally. He still hasn't done like a whole lot, but he's gotten a little bit in. Yeah, I mean, that was that game. It wasn't too exciting, really.
Yeah. Going to Washington and Arizona. That game was actually very entertaining. Kyler Murray seems like he's trying to slightly make his case.
He just wiped the floor with Washington, didn't he?
To kind of make an MVP case here. It's week 2, sure. But Kyler Murray has played well enough against the Niners and the Redskins.
What was the score in that game?
The score was 30-15.
That's what I think. Okay, yeah.
He played well enough against the Niners and the Redskins, I believe, to warrant that. Washington's defense is a pretty good defense. They have Chase Young. They have some good younger players. So the Arizona line seems like they're going to be a little bit better. Kyler Murray is going to have some more time. So we'll see. I'm really excited to see how Kyler Murray gets into the game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, rushed 67 yards, had 1 passing touchdown and 1 interception, but 286 passing yards, that's not bad.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is kind of a stud, and I'm looking forward to seeing him grow. I think he could definitely be one of the top quarterbacks, with very soon. I mean, he's playing very well, and now he's got some nice weapons around him, and he can really kind of develop. And I think that he'll be very good.
Yeah. No, I think that Dwayne Haskins didn't really play poorly. 19 of 33, 223 yards and a touchdown. But he still probably could have had a little bit better of a day.
For
and
sure.
I think that their run game is kind of being hurt. They didn't have anybody who ran over 60 yards. Yeah. And when you don't have that balance, it's going to be difficult to win the game in general.
Most definitely.
And we're going to be talking about Atlanta-Dallas now. talking about Atlanta, Dallas, that game was literally crazy.
I love that game. That was nuts.
The Falcons choking again.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. It was their second biggest choke since the Super Bowl. It was the second most amount of points. At the Super Bowl was 25. Here was 20. So it was nice to see them classic Falcon
go
things.
Back to their old ways.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan really didn't even play bad. 273 yards and 4 touchdowns, but Todd Gurley was underwhelming with 61 yards and no touchdowns. So seems like Todd Gurley's unfortunately 2.9 yards average on 21 carries. We got to be better than that, Todd.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he is on the decline for good.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to serve as just more of a complimentary rollback. Really can't be more of a feature back and get the carries because he just can't get the yards. 2.9 yards per carry is just not going to cut it in the NFL.
It is not, especially when you're going up against my boy Zeke.
Yeah, and Zeke was really good. Had 89 yards and a touchdown. He, didn't have 100 yards, but I guess nothing crazy
for Zeke.
But I guess
still a good game
for Zeke. For Zeke, it's just child's play, but
that's like an okay game, I guess. But he's still great.
But Dak had
lit it up.
He had 34 or 47 for 450 yards. Only had 1 touchdown, but he had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he did.
He only had 18 yards rushing, but
was that Lamar playing, or was that Dak Prescott? I don't know. I'm very excited because he's on my fantasy team, so I just want to see more of this. Dak is... Well, he finally woke up for a game. We'll see if he can do it anymore. But maybe Mike McCarthy is, working some magic with him. We'll see.
Quarterback whisperer.
I hope, because Dak has all the potential. He just needs to get there.
We almost saw Andy Dalton for 1 play because Dak got injured. He came in. He has 1 play. He's 0 of 1. But, hey... And maybe we'll see him another time.
Those are Andy Dalton numbers, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
That was a crazy game, though.
It was.
Absolutely nuts. I was so happy that the Cowboys pulled it off. I thought it was hilarious.
By a field goal.
Yeah, that was... It's such an incredible game.
Yeah. It's funny just to see the Falcons continue to blow games, blow big leads. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Falcons decide to go in a different situation down the road with Matt Ryan getting older and Julio Jones isn't getting any younger either. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, definitely, in the next few years to see what they do. Yeah, so talking about those 2 quarterbacks, let's go into another exciting quarterback matchup. Cam Newton and Russell Wilson just playing phenomenally and had 2 great games. It made for a great watch. It was so much fun. Cam Newton, of course, threw 30 for 44 for 397 yards with a touchdown and an interception, but he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So a really great night with another 11 carries for 47 yards, average 4.3. Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all. And then Russell Wilson, though, just went into God mode. Went 21 for 28, had 288 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Oh my goodness.
5 touchdowns with an interception. And then he added on 39 more rushing yards with 5 carries.
Do you think he's ahead of Kyler Murray in the MVP race right now?
Russell Wilson is leading the MVP race. It's not even close right now. This man... I could pull up his season stats. I would love to. I saw him earlier today, and they were just nuts. Like, he's just going full God mode. Like, he's going to be so much fun to watch. We'll see if he can keep it up all year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he can because he's Russell Wilson, and he's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, and still pretty underrated, as we talked about before.
No, I think so, too. I think that he deserves a little bit more respect than he gets.
Yeah, some of the... At least 2 of the passes I can think of right off the top of my head, the pass just dropped like perfectly. Like you could not have an inch farther would have been off. Like just the way he places the football in his receiver's hands, like it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely nuts.
He has an incredible arm.
Yeah. So that was a very exciting game. It was great seeing both quarterbacks play so well. It was great seeing Cam play so well as well. And it just made for such a great game. I was rooting for the Seahawks because they're the Seahawks, and I can't root for the Patriots. But Cam Newton almost had me like, I was kind of rooting for him,
And they
I was
almost
definitely
got it,
rooting for
man.
him.
They almost got it.
Yeah, it was really funny because it almost ended exactly the opposite of the Super Bowl, where the Patriots were at the 1 yard line to win it. They should have passed instead of ran, and where the Seahawks, ran instead of whatever. And they showcased Cam, like, the run. It made no sense. I thought it was a horrible play. They kind of just said, good luck, and just sent him out there. But
Yeah, it made no sense for them to
at
do
least
the
like
run.
draw up like a pass play and have him maybe rush in from that or something to catch him off guard.
Or bring a tight end or something.
Something. It was just so dumb. So it was really unfortunate, but Cam did his absolute best and played a really great game. But Russell Wilson just went MVP mode like I guess it was 2 nights ago. Yeah, but on Sunday night.
Yeah. Just really good to see from Cam Newton. I think that he's really showed that he can be a top 10 quarterback in the league
Most
still.
definitely. When he's healthy, he's still really good.
Then that's the problem is if Cam can stay healthy. Because if Cam can stay healthy, then will give the Patriots a genuine chance to win every single game they play.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're legitimate. I look at them as legitimate playoff contenders the way they are right now.
definitely, I think that they'll probably maybe more get in the wild card. Because I don't know if I see. Well, I guess maybe I see them winning their division.
The Bills, it depends. Josh Allen, he's playing really well.
Can you get through Josh Allen? That's the question. Those will be two really entertaining games to watch.
Oh, for sure. Especially with Bill Belichick and just seeing how he coaches the team, and it's gonna be great.
See how much better Josh Allen's gotten as a quarterback.
Yeah.
But then we'll actually go to New England, and Las Vegas Raiders are playing next week. We'll do some next week matchups.
It's gonna be a great game.
It will be an incredible game because Las Vegas is just David here. They're David here.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And Derek Carr. Last game he looked really bad in the first half, and then in the second half something clicked, and he just made the Saints defense look silly. Like he did whatever he wanted with
Josh
them.
Jacobs and Darren
And Josh
Waller.
Jacobs, of course, and Darren Waller. What a steal in fantasy! I was so thrilled with him. He's gonna be a great tight end and great for Derek Carr, and Josh Jacobs, like you said. Incredible talent. He's a great running back.
And Darren Waller, what a nice person, because he used to play for the Ravens
On the practice squad.
Yeah, had a little problems and stuff. So
he was more of a receiver, I think, when he was with us.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. It was 1 week. Just see how Derek Carr can play. This is a bit off topic, but not really at all. Their new stadium. I love their new stadium.
It is
I
incredible.
thought it looked so cool. I love the black seats, the Death Star name. Like it's so cool.
It was a great Monday Night Football start.
Yeah, it was one of the best. I think it was the highest Monday Night Football game in the past decade, like highest rated. It was like up 31% from last year, I think, or 39%. But yeah, it was a great start. The Raiders got their win in the stadium, and what a cool debut for the stadium. Like it looks so cool.
Especially against the Saints. It was a good game.
Yeah, and I think I like their stadium more than the Rams stadium, personally, but they're both so incredible.
Yeah, they're both really nice stadiums, but we'll see who wins in this New England-Las Vegas matchup. It'll be, both defenses are very good. Stephon Gilmore has some good receivers to match up next against.
Yeah.
And Brian Edwards, and we'll see if Henry Ruggs can get going because he really didn't do much against the Saints.
Yeah, the thing is that I felt like he got open a decent amount, but Derek Carr just was not looking for him, or he just wasn't paying attention, or he looked like he kept going for the short, like dink and dunks, and wasn't really stretching the field. So
That's why Darren Waller got so many catches.
Yeah, exactly. he had 12 catches, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that Henry Ruggs definitely could be a great weapon who can get open as long as Derek Carr is looking for him.
He'll be hoping to get him more involved in this game. I'll see. I think that New England will probably wind up winning this game just because of the fact of Bill Belichick. I don't think that Bill Belichick will let them win.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, Cam Newton, and Stephon Gilmore. I think those three are just gonna cause a bit of a nightmare for the Raiders. I think that the Raiders will I think they'll put up an okay fight.
Oh, I think it'll be a probably very good game.
Yeah, I think it could be a good game. But I do think the Patriots will eventually just take the game, take the lead or whatever at some point. Bill Belichick is better than the Raiders organization and John Gruden.
No, it'll be a good game. I'm excited to just see if Cam Newton can develop more as a player and just even more as a passer.
Yeah, it's great that he went to the Patriots with like Bill Belichick and stuff, because like if he's going to succeed anywhere, it's going to be New England. I mean, that's one of the best spots he can go, just because of how smart of a coach Bill Belichick is and all. So it's great for his career, and I'm very excited to see him get better week to week.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to hop over to the Packers and Saints. This should be a pretty great game.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like it will be. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, that's a great matchup right there. Devontae Adams should be back by then. They were saying that he probably could have returned last week, but they just wanted to stay safe since they already had the lead and whatnot. I think the big thing is going to be whether or not the Saints can keep up with Aaron Rodgers and his offense, which I didn't think I'd be saying because I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to suck this year, but maybe next year. So it looks like it's going to come down to whether or not the Saints can keep up with the Packers with scoring, because the Packers, I mean, they just dropped 42 points on the Lions. Aaron Rodgers scored 2 touchdowns. So did Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had 168 yards on 18 carries. He averaged 9.3 yards a carry. That's almost a first down a carry. Like, that's nuts.
But you're saying that Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback.
I'm saying Aaron Rodgers is an okay quarterback. He went 18 for 30 for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's all right.
You're warming up to him.
No. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know if the Saints... It looks as if Drew Brees, he's still great, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with the Packers. It doesn't look like he's as great as he was.
Seems like he's making a little bit more mental and maybe physical mistakes, like he's not able to get the ball into somebody.
Yeah. So just stuff like that. I think the Packers will win it, but I do think it'll be a good game. But with Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, I feel like they're going to be kind of a headache for the Saints defense. And I feel like the Packers will take control of the game. Maybe in I can see in the third quarter them kind of just taking the game and running away with it. We'll see. But I'm hoping for a great game. It's 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great teams. The Saints are trying to bounce back from this bad loss they had. The Packers are trying to make a statement with 3-0. Aaron Rodgers wants to show the world that he's still good. So it'll be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for me, I think that, I don't know. I kind of actually feel like the Saints are going to pull this one out.
Yeah?
I don't know. I think that it just depends on how well the Saints defense plays.
Yeah.
The Saints defense is so hot and cold. And it also depends on whether or not Devontae Adams plays. If Devontae Adams plays, I think that the defense of the Saints will get stretched way more than normal.
Sure. Yeah.
And they'll probably give up way more points. And so I think that the Packers will win there. But I don't know. I still think the Saints defense is up to the task, even with Devontae
certainly not
Adams.
bad.
Oh,
certainly
no,
not bad.
Neither team is. They're both teams are, in my opinion, guaranteed playoff teams.
Yeah. It really depends on if Adams can play and just how hot that defense is playing as well.
Yeah, no, that'll be just a really, really good game to watch. Another great game is Cowboys Seahawks. That game is going to be excellent.
Oh, for sure.
Cowboys are just coming off of a crazy win that we just talked about with the Falcons.
With Dak just going God mode, trying to make an early MVP case for himself.
And then you got the front runner, we'll say MVP, in 2 games in.
The
Russell
actual
Wilson.
MVP candidate.
Exactly.
Russell
Exactly. Russell Wilson. That game will be very entertaining. I'm looking forward to seeing if Russ can beat the Cowboys or if the Cowboys can make a real statement. The thing is I feel like I could see the Cowboys winning this game because the Cowboys always do this every year. They do this every single year to us. Every Cowboys fan as well. They pull us in. They make us think that they're an elite team. And then they'll drop a bad game in the next game. The next game they'll drop a goose egg. But I can see Dallas winning this game.
If Dallas wins this game, I will I will swear by Dak Prescott for the rest of my life. He
Until the
he
next
goes
game.
from this comeback and then beats Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. But yeah, no, he probably, like you said, he would probably lose the very next game. But I think if the Cowboys won, that would be a huge statement. It would be a take us seriously type game. Like that'd be a crazy win. The Seahawks, I think the Cowboys are a good test to see where they are at and how good they are, because this is a very good team that they're going up against. But I mean, the Seahawks have been playing good teams, so
Yeah.
it's. I think they're gonna win, but I think the Cowboys will not make it easy for them. But this is a game that can really go either way, and I'm very excited for it. I like a lot of players on both teams, so yeah.
For now, I think I don't know. I think I'm torn. I think I'll say probably the Cowboys.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. I think that Dak needs that
Hey, we don't always agree.
signature win. The Seahawks defense is a little bit more exposed. They did lose Bruce Irvin for the year as well. So their defense is not, like we said last week, is not what it once was. So I see the Cowboys. I see Zeke kind of getting all over them. I think he's due for a really, really big game. So I can see it being a statement game against them.
I can see it being a shootout, like, very easily as well. Just like both offenses just firing on all cylinders. Like, they have great offenses. So yeah, it could. There's so many ways this game could go, and it's just very exciting. I'm very, very excited for this one.
Yeah.
So from there, we're going to hop right into the Steelers-Texans, which is another great game that I'm excited about. I feel like the Texans, they really gotta win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 0-2, going 0-3. Stats will show you that that's really hard to come back from. So this is a must-win game for them. And the Steelers are looking really good this year, I think. Their defense is just popping. Their Ben's looking pretty well. Their rookie receivers are all looking fantastic.
They look great.
Yeah, so it's going to be a really good game. And the Steelers really need to win, too, to keep up with us because, we're going to win games, so they're going to have to keep up. So I think the Texans are definitely in more of a desperation mode. So I could see the Texans pulling this one out just because they need to win. And Deshaun Watson and company, David Johnson and all, they got to perform. Last week, they were going up against the Ravens. So they went up against the Ravens and the Chiefs. So that's really, really
back-to-back brutal
such
games.
a hard start to the season. So they're definitely not a bad team. They've just been playing really hard teams. That's the two best teams in the NFL, arguably, and maybe not even arguably, they are. But the Steelers' defense is also, I think, one of the best in the NFL. So it's just gonna be really difficult. They gotta be more electric and stuff than they've been, and they gotta be more like accurate. Deshaun Watson last week went 25 for 36, 275 yards, and a touchdown and an interception, and he's got to do more. David Johnson, 34 yards.
He's got to get more carries.
Yeah, and then, Deshaun Watson was the next leading rusher with 17, and they didn't have any rushing touchdowns. They've got to do more.
Will they be able to against the Steelers' defense, which may even be better than the Ravens' defense?
Yeah,
arguably.
Right now it very well could be.
Yeah.
And the receivers have got to step up. They got Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, who's kind of, Randall Cobb, he's older. But Will Fuller, these people have got to step up and actually do something. They're really not. Brandon Cooks had 95 yards, 5 receptions. But besides that, no one else had over 60 yards.
They need more of a supporting cast. They can't just only have one receiver doing everything and barely have a running back rushing much and expect to win the game.
So they're kind of showing that this DeAndre Hopkins trade maybe wasn't the best because it's really hard to work with this receiving group when you once had DeAndre Hopkins and a superstar.
It was just such a safety valve, really.
Yeah.
For him that it now that he's gone, it's such a big difference in the offense. It changes the whole entire complexity of the
Yeah,
offense.
because none of these receivers are stepping up right now either, really. So, I mean, last week it was Will Fuller. This week it was a little bit of Brandon Cooks, but it's just there's no like consistent receiver that's been good. While on the other side of the ball with Ben Roethlisberger, or like, the other team, he's playing pretty well. He had 29 for 41, which is, all right, but 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. But he's got a good supporting cast with James Conner, who had 106 yards, averaging 6.6 a carry with a touchdown. Then he's got Chase Claypool, who's just looking like he could break out this year and be a monster. Like the Steelers are just showing that they can draft receivers like they always have, and they've always been great at it, and it's really annoying. But then you had like Deontay Johnson also with 92 yards and a touchdown. So you have the Steelers, their offense, like everyone's contributing. They've got just great people. So I don't know if the Texans can keep up with them. I feel like they're just too good, the Steelers. So I think it'll be, a good game, hard-fought game from the Texans, but I think the Steelers will just do enough to win.
I'm not gonna disagree with you here again.
All right.
I think the Texans are gonna get this one. I think that Deshaun Watson just has to get this game. I maybe I'm showing a little bit of bias here because Deshaun Watson's on my fantasy team, and I want to have a will to start
him?
this man. I think I'm going to start Deshaun Watson this week.
Bold.
I feel like he needs a marquee win, and they're at home. Not that means a whole lot because of COVID, but they're at home. I just feel he gets the win here.
But can his line protect him with the defense? With the Steelers' defensive line is so good.
I don't know. TJ Watt will get to him. I think the Texans are going to get it. I think Deshaun Watson puts out a great performance. I'm saying it right now.
All right, I hope
puts out a great performance.
I hope so. But...
And they win this game. Not by much, but I do think the game is... I could see this game being a little bit more high scoring than what people would anticipate.
You think high scoring?
I don't think it's going to be in the 30s, but I think it's going to be in at least the mid 20s, maybe low to mid 20s for both teams, which is a little bit higher than I would think the Steelers would give up points wise.
Yeah, I hope the Texans win. I think the Steelers will, but I hope the Texans do. For obvious reasons.
Always. And Deshaun Watson's awesome.
Oh yeah, love Deshaun Watson. So right from here, we're going to just swerve right into the Ravens section. They just beat the Texans and look pretty good doing it while only playing okay.
Still looking like the secondary maybe is a little bit leaky.
Our defense is bending but not breaking right now. And that's something that I feel like
is the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
It always has been.
Is the Ravens defense, at least modern defense. But I feel like it'll fix itself. I just can't see us keeping this defense like this for long, especially with like Wink, Martindale and stuff. Like he's just too good. Some coordinators I would be like, well, this is going to be our year. But with him, I just don't think that he will settle with this. I think he's going to keep doing everything he can to make it better. I have a lot of faith in him. Just he's been really incredible. So we'll see, but I could definitely see that getting better in time. I hope.
Yeah, overall it was good from the Ravens. I think that Lamar Jackson is just, it's weird to see Lamar Jackson year 3 because we just see a whole new Lamar Jackson more focused on maybe passing the ball, not being as electric as he was, but still obviously putting in a juke or two to make somebody look ridiculous in a game.
Yeah, last year it was like every game he was rushing almost 100 yards. Like it was nuts. This year he's been a lot more tame, but he's been just slinging the ball and doing great with that. It was nice seeing that last week he had an okay game. Like he wasn't amazing. Like he wasn't out of this world.
He's accurate.
Yeah, he was accurate, but he wasn't like a Lamar Jackson game. But the Ravens still won pretty heftily. Like the game was never in jeopardy at all. And so it showed that like we didn't need Lamar to be this superstar MVP performance every week to win. Like we can have him be a regular quarterback and still win the game, which is nice. Just showing that we have enough talent around us that it can support support him. Like, we don't need that every single week.
We don't have to see the best of Lamar Jackson every single game in order for us to win by 17 against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, so it's just nice to know that, like, we don't need him performing at an MVP performance to win the game. Like, he can have, like, an okay game, and we can still win pretty comfortably. Like, we're just pretty well-rounded, so it's nice. Because when he's, like, not doing great, the rushing game will do great. And it's just... But one of the things this past week that kind of hurt him, and which was probably one of the reasons he didn't play, like, amazing, is because the offensive line was really letting him down. It wasn't really blocking for him.
Yeah, it was very poor.
Yeah, so plays didn't develop as much. He didn't have lanes so much to run in. So hopefully that'll get better. I know Ronnie Stanley's been dealing with some injuries, and there's just stuff we're dealing with. But
And still dealing with the loss of Marshall Yanda, so...
yeah, of course. And he's one of those, even in his older age, like, he's like an irreplaceable center.
Definitely.
So
he's very good.
yeah, so we're still dealing with that. So it's one of those things that maybe later in the year, as they mesh, they'll start playing better, or maybe we'll pick someone up off of, like, free agency or whatever. So that's one thing I'll be watching for to see if it can get better in weeks to come. I'm hoping it's not really a problem in the Chiefs game coming up.
Yeah. And the Chiefs game is coming up really fast. It's
Very
exciting.
exciting. It's weird that it's week 3. It just feels like it's a later season game.
Yeah, because of COVID, there's no one even gonna be there. It's really weird.
As John Harbaugh said, he's like the coach who's got the least amount of Monday night home games. I think it's like 2 in his 12 years of being a coach. And now that he finally has a Monday night game at home, that's a huge game. None of the fans can be there. So, like you said. He said that it's ironic, and it really is.
We'll be with him in spirit, though.
Yeah, most definitely. And we will all be watching and cheering them on very loudly at home. But this is one of those games that just every football fan is pretty much excited for, because it's Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, just two of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. Whether you're a fan or not, they're still just so much fun to watch, with, like, Lamar running, Patrick Mahomes doing no-look throws. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen
It's
on
always
Monday night.
crazy.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be some nuts plays that happen from both teams, and it's going to be just a crazy highlight reel, I think.
No, I think it'll be a nuts game. I
Yeah.
think that Kansas City's weakest point, and it's always been their weakest point, is their ability to stop the run. And the Ravens excel at that spot. And if, like we were saying earlier, if their line is able to hold up, if our line can hold up, then we'll be able to hurt them very badly on the run. And if Lamar Jackson if we can expose that run, then we'll probably be able to expose the pass as well, with Lamar Jackson throwing maybe to Marcus Brown a couple times, maybe even wide open. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about the Ravens offense, is that we can attack from, like, through the air or from the ground, and no team really knows what we're doing. And if a team is better at one, we just do the other, and we just kind of switch, like, as needed from team to team. And with the Chiefs, like, if their rushing defense isn't great, we'll just run the ball a bunch. You'll probably see Lamar do some more, like, rushes and stuff. So it's a really great thing that we're like, so that we excel at both, because it's incredible for stuff like this. And I feel like this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Oh, it definitely
Yeah,
will
like
be.
it's going to be probably down to the last drive. I could see, like, just these two quarterbacks are both going to be in the game until the very end.
Patrick Mahomes is going to be slinging for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They had a really underwhelming game against the Chargers that they won,
They
overtime, and 58-yard field goal by Butker to win the game.
And it's one of those things where I want to say, like, oh, did the Chiefs, are they not as good as we thought they were? But also at the same time, it's a division game, so you know how the division games are always, I mean, the Patriots and Dolphins, like, every year with Tom Brady and all, that was still a close game, even though the Dolphins went, like, 0-16, like, almost. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where the Chiefs are, and I would say where the Ravens are, but I feel like we've kind of, at least as fans, we know pretty much where we are, because we played decent teams so far. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a great game. I'm very, very, very excited
The
for
game
it.
will be insanely entertaining.
Yeah.
I think that this game I think that the Ravens will get this one. I don't know. I think that it just depends on how well we can stop Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball.
So I was about to say, it depends on our defense. Because, I mean, we have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, who are just a nightmare for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're so good. So it's really going to come down to just how well they can put on pressure on Mahomes and stop the run with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which has been a spot that they've been kind of right now.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been great this year. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just our secondary just being tighter coverage on people because they've been, like, leaving some people open. But it'll just be really fun to watch with Tavon Young out also, seeing if, I don't know, I think Jimmy Smith is healthy, right, to go back.
He is now, yes.
Yeah, so he'll be in. So it'll be interesting to see him. But yeah, it'll be a great game. I hope there's not really any injuries on either side with all these injuries going on.
Week,
yeah, I hope that it's an injury-free game and we can just enjoy great football.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say... It's hard, but I'm going to say I think the Ravens will win because Lamar Jackson has got to beat Patrick Mahomes. He's two of his, like, 3 or 4 losses have been to Patrick Mahomes. He just got to beat him. It's that, and he's got to win a playoff game, or just like the two things in his career he just got to do, and it'll just help people take him a little bit more seriously too, I think, especially the playoff game. But yeah, it'll just be great.
Mm-hmm. I think the game will be it will be entertaining. I think I see the Ravens winning it. I personally don't feel as if in Lamar's year 3 that this is a must-win game for him. I don't think that Lamar has.
I feel like it is.
I don't think Lamar has anything to prove. I think Lamar was the most valuable player last year. I don't think that he has anything to... I think that he has nothing to prove.
He has nothing to
other people, but I think that it would be nice for him to win this game. But I do think that him winning a playoff game is the thing. But I think that this game won't be a game that'll be looked back at if he loses.
I feel like if he loses, this game could definitely be a game looked back at as he can't beat Patrick Mahomes because this is going to be his 3rd time playing him, right?
This is year 3, though.
Yeah, I know.
If it was year 7,
but if we meet them in the playoffs, all you're going to hear is he's played him 3 times. He hasn't been able to beat him. He's this and that, and I mean he hasn't been able to beat him just yet. And I mean, in order to, because everyone right now it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, like on almost every list. I think this list and a quarterback list that I saw, Lamar Jackson was number 1, which is pretty cool. But for the most part, you're going to see Patrick Mahomes and Lamar. And I think if Lamar finally beats Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be a little bit more mixed, like a little bit more. And it's gonna start the rivalry a bit more because then the Chiefs fans are going to be salty that they lost and they're going to be like yapping about like at us. And then
to me, it won't be really. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes personally will. I don't think Patrick Mahomes will ever be underneath Lamar Jackson until Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes has the same accolades and more as Lamar Jackson right now. And so right now, I think.
But I'm talking about as far as week to week, almost like it's always Patrick Mahomes, Lamar. But like if he beats Patrick Mahomes, then it kind of like switches up. I'm not talking about like full career stuff. Like Patrick Mahomes is, I mean, I don't want to say miles ahead, but miles ahead of Lamar with, I mean, a Super Bowl. That's like a big thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, in terms of career stats, like actual just like football stats, they're both very similar. But in terms of like awards, accolades, Lamar Jackson is well on his way to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I guess miles ahead isn't fair because he's really only not gotten a Super Bowl. But this year is really a year that could happen. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it's the year that it should happen because I mean, we're getting like contract years and stuff coming up, so we have to win soon, I think, if we want to win with this team. I think Lamar will definitely still win Super Bowls in the future, but I think we're getting close to the must-win Super Bowl, especially if Lamar wants like a giant contract, because I guess it'd be good for the Ravens if he waited to win all of his Super Bowls until right after his contract year. But
and he knows that the core won't be there. His core won't be there as much. Maybe Mark Andrews, maybe Marcus Brown, but he won't have as many weapons around him.
Yeah, it's just like we're so good right now. I feel like we we got to win with this team. I'd be disappointed if we lose a lot of this team and we don't win at least one Super Bowl. They're just so good. So we'll see what happens. We're probably going to have to, if we want to win the Super Bowl, we're probably going to have to play the Chiefs twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens this game. And then later on when both teams are a little bit more developed. And, I mean, they could be completely different teams by then. We'll see. But
yeah,
it just depends on how the year goes.
Yeah. And with that, I think we're going to go into some fantasy.
Yes.
Okay, Josh, what is your favorite only one, waiver pickup?
My favorite pickup for this week, which I should have done yesterday, was Devontae Freeman. I think he's a really good pickup right now. He's about to go to the Giants. They just lost Saquon Barkley. Deion Lewis is there. What's the other back?
Wayne Gallman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're both there. I know Deion Lewis has really been like a complimentary back, kind of. Always like a secondary.
More of a
since
passing down back.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has a lot of value he has at least some value in PPR leagues for sure. But Devontae Freeman, I think I could see him just taking over that backfield, being like the main running back. It's still, they have 3 running backs, so it's kind of unfortunate, but I could see Devontae Freeman really taking over that running back core. So I think he's a great pickup. He would have been a sneaky pickup yesterday. Me and Josh actually both tried getting him yesterday. Josh tried a bit too late. I think I was also too late, but I also forgot because I had him on my phone and then got distracted. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a great pickup this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one?
I would say that I don't have anyone in particular. I do have Gardner Minshew on my waivers in
I love Gardner
another
Minshew.
league, so I'm hoping. I don't know if I would say I don't know if he should be a waiver wire pickup, but for some reason in this league, he is owned in, I think, about 70% of leagues across. So he's not necessarily a high pick owned, but he is definitely worth a high pick if they're going to throw as much as they are in the Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
Yeah, no, I think that Gardner Minshew is a great quarterback to have in fantasy. On waivers, it really depends on the league, I feel like.
Yeah.
And how your quarterback situation is and what quarterbacks are available. I'm debating about whether or not I should say any of my other waiver wire moves that I have, because we're both in a fantasy league, and I'm actually looking right now. Oh, okay. Well, 3 of my 4 were Deion Lewis, Devontae Freeman, and Wayne Gallman. So I really went for the Giants running back core. My other one, which I think I can say because I don't think you'll steal him from me right now, is Chase Claypool. I think he has potential to be at least like a flex receiver.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm looking for right now with this team.
Good,
yeah. He has he has at least potential to kind of break out. It just depends. It's still early, so we'll see. But I could see he's a good stash. Him and if you're looking for someone to replace Thomas, Tre'Quan Smith, I feel like he could be pretty good. Another one, especially for this week or for while Michael Thomas is not playing, he could be definitely a good receiver to grab. Mm-hmm. He played pretty well last week. I don't remember his numbers exactly, but they were encouraging enough that they could increase next week, and we'll see. But he's a sneaky pick, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that those are all really great picks.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
No,
I better not see any of them on your team tomorrow.
Maybe. No, I think that it'll be interesting to see how, since it seems like the whole fantasy landscape has changed a little bit. Even though we did see a lot of defensive players, I'd say in a lot of leagues you had Giants, Saquon Barkley going number 2, in the draft. So
almost, I think unanimously he went number 2 probably in most people's drafts because he was, next to Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets replaced and how other people in the leagues replace him.
Yeah, for sure. There should be a lot more. I'm expecting more trades this year than I usually see, just because of the volume of injured players. And at this point, there's a lot of people you can put in, but you don't really know who's great yet. But I could see a lot of trades happening just because it's really hard to replace some of these people. So it's going to be a fun fantasy year, but it's really unfortunate that all these injuries occurred because there's just so many teams that are just hurting pretty bad right now because of them all. So, yeah, I don't know, do you have any more people that you want to talk about?
Not necessarily. I think that
Covered all of our bases?
I think we did.
All right. So I think that's everything we're going to talk about today, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it was a great episode. We had a lot to talk about. Excited for week 3. Very excited. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And do it. But, yeah, thanks for listening. And
We're out.
We're out.